So today I'm going to show you how to replace the hatch covers on your Apache camper. Now these things are several decades old, so it's no surprise that the plastic would get brittle and crack and break. The UV light really isn't a friend of plastic. So I'm going to show you how to do that today, and I'm going to give you the part number. And here's our replacement part. If you can see, the number on this is EC147PW. Now the PW just stands for polar white. There's also other colors available, but this is the ones that I chose. Now, not all Apaches have the same exact hatch covers. This is a 1975 Apache, but what really matters is the size, because even if you don't have a 1975, these covers may fit your camper. So here's the diameter of the hole, which is 2 5/8. Now the hatch cover itself measures 3.5 by 3.5 square, and the holes are 2.5 inches apart on both sides. So even if these don't look like the exact hatch covers that you have, they may fit. You just have to check those dimensions. Now to do this, it's pretty simple. You're going to need a cordless drill right here, a drill bit. This one's 5/32. I believe these are 3/16 rivets, but I'm not 100% sure. So you just need something that's a little bigger than 3/16 and it should work. Some sealant right here. I've just got some silicone. It's just what I had in the gun. Anything would work. You know, you could even use engine sealant. I wouldn't get too stuck on that. Got a rivet gun. Got some rivets, of course. But you could also use like stainless steel screws and nuts if you wanted. So we're going to start by drilling out these rivets. There we go. Now if you'll notice, these are just big enough to where it takes the head off. The bit's just big enough to where it takes the head off, but the rest of the rivet's left there. Alright. Now this is going to be stuck on there because there's adhesive behind it, and then the rivets are probably still holding it just a little bit. So I've got this thing, it's called a bone stick. Window installers use them for doing like car windows and stuff like that, but anything would work. We're just getting under the corner to pry it loose. So it pops out just like that. I'm not sure what this original adhesive was. I don't think it's butyl, but it doesn't really matter. So now you're going to need to scrape off the old adhesive and pop those rivets out the rest of the way. That's kind of stuck. I might have to drill them out some more just to get them out. And a good scraper for this, if you don't have a bone stick, you could easily use like a wooden paint stick from Home Depot or Lowe's, or like even this wooden ruler would work, because it's going to be able to scrape that soft adhesive off while doing minimum damage to the paint. You know, it's not going to rip the paint up. So you don't have to buy anything fancy, you just really need to scrape off the adhesive. Besides, even if you do scratch this a little bit, it's aluminum and it's going to be hidden by the hatch cover, so it's not really that big of a deal. It's pretty well taken care of now, but there's still a lot of dirt and grunge here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a rag with some rubbing alcohol, and I'm going to clean that up really well. So I've got my rubbing alcohol here. I'm just going to soak this rag a little bit, and I'm going to clean this off. Now what this does is it gets rid of contaminants, and that way when you put on the new hatch cover and you put your sealant on there, the contaminants won't stop the sealant from attaching onto the aluminum. And it's not a bad idea to actually wipe down the mating surface of the hatch cover as well, just in case there's like greases or oils from the manufacturing process. So you can see how much the paint's oxidized and kind of faded over time. This is probably what the original color actually looked like. So that's pretty clean right there. Now we're going to go ahead and install our hatch cover. I've chosen to use rivets, and these are the ones I've decided upon. And if you can see right here, that says grip range, which is 1/4 inch. Now that's how much that rivet can grip, which when I measured this, plus the thickness of the aluminum here, it comes to right on about 1/4 inch. So that's what I'm going to use. Now since these rivets are 3/16, I drilled out these holes as well as the holes in the hatch cover to 3/16. Now something to be mindful about when you're choosing your fasteners for this, you want them to be able to sit under this cover so that you can close it. So if you get big screws that have big fat round heads, they might not fit in there and allow this to close all the way. So that's something to be mindful about. So now that I've got this all cleaned off with the rubbing alcohol, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a bead of silicone all the way around. Now this doesn't have to be very thick because the rivets are going to pull that hatch cover down towards the aluminum and actually spread that silicone out. So it doesn't have to be very thick at all, just enough to fill the gap between the hatch cover and this aluminum. I'm going to go around the rivet holes just a little bit. I don't want water leaking in around those. Now when you've got this all riveted down, you could also put a little bit of silicone in the rivets themselves because they're hollow. But the way I see it, the hatch cover is going to cover those, so odds are that they're not going to leak, even if you didn't use the silicone. Okay, so that's what I've got. I'll go ahead and stick my hatch cover up there, and I'm going to use a couple of rivets to hold it in place so that all the holes line up. There's one. Go diagonal and do this one. That way when I secure one of these rivets, the hatch cover isn't turned so that the other holes don't line up. I would like them all to line up, so that's why I'm doing this. Just gonna go ahead and stick the other ones in like that. Got my handy dandy rivet gun here. It doesn't malfunction. Tip up. So when you're using a rivet gun, you want to use the smallest orifice that'll fit the rivet. this one, and they just screw in and out of the tip like that. So there's one. Go do the diagonal one. Look at that. If you want to do these so that the nose of the rivet gun is going straight onto the rivet, you don't want it tilted, angled, or anything like that. There's two. Three. And there you go. Now it's all fastened on, it's sealed on, and what we want to do before we finish up here is to check to see if any silicone got pushed out the sides, because it's a lot easier to clean that up before it dries. And luckily for me, I just got a little bit there and a little bit here. I'm gonna wipe that away. And there you go. That's how to replace your hatch cover on an Apache camper. Well, hope that helps you guys out, and happy camping.